Hello YouTube modelers, welcome back to my channel. Thank all my viewers and subscribers for tuning in. So we are past the halfway point on this Monogram 69 Dodge Super B 440. Everything's been painted. I did all the detail painting. So it's just straight assembly from here on in. So as you can see, everything's already done. Some are still on the tree. The lights, the wheels. These will be the aftermarket distributors and seat belts. The body has already been detailed. I'm just going to do the chrome around the wheel wells and the black panel lines upon completion. Here's the dash. I have to put the decal in it. And everything else is done. So I'll be back when the sub-assemblies are completed. Alright, so the sub-assemblies, well, the major sub-assemblies are completed. So you have the chassis with the engine and the wiring. Everything's wired up. Everything's mounted. I tried lowering the front suspension a little bit, and this is a big, chunky, one-piece front end piece. So maybe I shaved off in the wrong place. So it lowers slightly, but it kind of gave me a hard time. So I don't know if it was worth the extra time to shave it in an attempt to lower the front end, but it is slightly lowered now because like most of the two monograms I built previously, it had a squat stance where the front was a little high. So this time the front is a little bit with a nose dive down. Engine, so that's it. The hood is flat black. Here is the body all painted and ready to go. All the chrome trim clear is in. The panel lines are in strong because it really stands out against a bright yellow body. And most importantly, I want to show you this before I close it up. It is the interior. Simple, black, yellow belts to match the body. More importantly, the decal sheet is very extensive. So what that means is they gave you decals for all the gauges. That's a nice detail to have. Although the 4 small gauges is kind of hard to stick it in the recessed area. And of course, the first time that I've had this, it has a decal for the shift pattern. Reverse is to the top left. So that's detail. That they included the decal for the shift pattern on the gear shifter knob. Okay, so I'm gonna start mating everything together, but just want to show you that interior before I button it up. So I'm gonna start buttoning it up. Then I have to work on the front and rear bumper, grille, tail light, that kind of stuff. And I'll be back. We are here now at the final reveal of the Monogram 69 Dodge Super B 446 pack final reveal, which also is the Frank Frizzo appreciation build. So here it is. So typical muscle car Mopar that was originally a Monogram kit, like the two that I previously built, the 70 Challenger and the 71 Plymouth Cuda. It is the big 124 scale, but it has no lower radiator hose. It does come with an upper, but this one happens to be just a little bit more detailed because they did include rear shocks, and the exhaust line is separate, although it is attached to the axle. But anyway, the Rust-Oleum fluorescent yellow compared to the fluorescent green that I previously used, this paint finish happens to be more porous. But if you spray a little bit of clear coat, it's not too bad. So what I like about this kit is that it did include a lot of decals. I don't know if that was specific just to this later release, or they release an enhanced or expansive decal sheet even back in the day. But anyway, decals such as the Super Bee wearing his white helmet and the front grille, right? That's nice to have. The decal that I mentioned on the gear shift knob showing the shift pattern. All the round gauges inside are decals. So they look very nice. The white lettering really goes for the slicks, but I use them for the street tires. So they may seem a little big, but it's not too bad. Here is the rear as well. It also gave you the 3 keyholes for the trunk and the 2 doors. And of course, because it's a Frank appreciation build, he lives in New Jersey, there is the Garden State Super Bee 440 plates. Do take the time to detail the front and rear light panels. Now the cons on this kit was the wheels. They're either loose enough to spin, but they keep falling off. So what I did was I didn't glue the wheel back to the front chrome. What I did was that I left it loose because they are very tight, friction fitted, but I put a larger piece of plastic inside on the end of the spindle so that the wheel cannot come off, because it kept falling off. And I like my models to roll because then you can see the white lettering go round. This rear light panel, there's no backstop. So what that means is that it's really hard to line up because the directions were in clear, whether you're supposed to put it on top, come from underneath, or fit it flush. So you have to fit it flush. And you have the compression of the body, so it's really hard to have to sit it perfectly flush. So you kind of need to hold it there for like 5 or 10 minutes until the model glue starts to cure. Other than that, the thick black stripe in the back, you're gonna have to moisturize it and keep it wet until you set it exact. And even as meticulous as I try to be, it still came a little bit off now that it's dry, because if you notice the black line to the rear bumper, this side is a little too close. But more importantly, just make sure on the top it lines up and they overlap. Because of the rounded fender, like the Coke bottle, if you fit it too far forward, it's going to be wider and use more of the decal, and then you won't have enough decal to overlap. You can't push it to the end because that'll be too close to the edge. Even this hood scoop decal, this one's a little low. This one is in the center. Because sometimes I don't think of that as I'm applying the decals. Inside has the yellow seat belts along with minimal trim. So there you go, but I think you've seen that in earlier footage. Let's take a look at the engine. Now you know I had to strip this body paint once before, so I attached alligator clips to the 2 ends of this hood. So the stress along with the ELO paint, it cracked off, so I had to glue it back. That's why there's cracks there. But at least it holds shape now. I know the original air filter and valve cover were orange, but since these came chrome already, I just left it. Air filter is attached to this, I don't know what you call it, this tray that attaches to provide a airtight intake. I just glued those together, but I didn't glue it to the engine, so you can see the engine from here. The coil resting on top of the intake manifold, and the wiring diagram. Now I've seen some where on each side all 4 cables come from the front, but the headers does have that gigantic down tube that blocks the very last cylinder on each side, So I decided to route it over the top. Some people do that, or you can route all 4 from the front. When you mate, they tell you to glue the engine onto the chassis and then mate the chassis to the body. This engine is very wide, so it just barely fits. You basically have to wiggle it in or wedge it or angle it in. So that's going to make mating just a little bit difficult. So if you do tend to wire it, make sure you bend the wiring so it's nice and flush on the sides, because it really needs, this is a tight fit, just to let you know. But the decals are great as long as the Super B wearing the white racing helmet. It comes with the oil filter decal, battery decal, and the caution warning decal on the radiator support. Let's take a look at the bottom. I did have to bend the axle a little bit to get all 4 wheels to touch. So I think one of the shock absorbers looks a little bent because I had to bend the axle a little bit, but at least it came with shocks. And that's how I did it. Drilled out the tailpipes, put some flat black paint in it, and then touched up the tips with some chrome. So that's basically it. So Frank, I hope you like this appreciation build for you. It does have the Jersey plates. I'll have stills at the end. And as usual, thanks for watching. Always like the 67, 68 to like 72 or 73 Mopars because of the bright, high impact colors, and of course the animated cartoon characters like the Roadrunner, the Super B with his white racing helmet and a stinger sticking out in the end, the devil on the demon, and of course the duster guy in the dust cloud. So a good period for Mopars. Love those little characters, the cartoon characters. So thanks for watching.